Hi, welcome back to Siren Acoustic Guitars. We're
for episode 5?
Yeah, episode 5.
Episode 5.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah. So it's been a long road with these instruments, and we hope you'll enjoy watching the next steps to heading towards finish.
Yeah. So we've had a lot going on in the shop. You know, we've got like what, 6, 7 instruments we're working on right now.
3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
5 instruments.
We had 6.
And
the other one got finished and got out.
We're working on, and Josh is going to be starting number 6 because he's got another. We have a new commission.
That's right.
So yeah, we'll be starting another one soon.
As you guys know, the website's up. Still under progress. You know, so we're still working on it, but it is functioning. You can send us emails on there if you want an instrument. You can attempt to make a purchase. I'd recommend going through the email though, because the whole purchasing system, still trying to figure that out.
You know, and if they're local, folks are local, they can stop down to our collaboration with
41st Studios.
41st
Yeah.
Studios. There's a guitar, there's a Siren Grand Auditorium down there, and you can sit down and play it.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun.
Yeah, 41st Studios actually does multiple media production. I mean, they do podcast setups, they have a soundproof booth downstairs, they have an infinity room. They honestly, they do a lot as far as promotion goes. They do camera work.
So hopefully our good friend Seth Connolly is going to get down there with a number of our instruments and do some playing and evaluating the instruments on video down there, so that we can post some really professional quality stuff so people can hear how they sound.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could play like him so that I could do it, but we got Seth.
Yeah. But once again, big thank you to 41st Studios and Mike Keslak and his whole team.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
fantastic. They're working with us, and that's great. But that's not why you're here. We're going to move on to the build, and hope you enjoy this episode.
All right.
Now that the top and the back are glued onto the sides, we have to sand off the overhang in order to create a flat surface. So that way when we're routing the binding channels, we have a nice surface to register off of. Just like the sides, we place the binding strips inside aluminum foil after spraying them down with water. As it heats up in the bending jig, steam that's created within the aluminum foil makes it a lot easier to bend the binding. This way, when we go to put the binding on the body, we don't have to worry about snapping or cracking while we're gluing it into place. Now that these are bent to shape, we will set them aside and move on to the sanding sealer. The reason we brush on the sanding sealer before we do the binding is to prevent any tear out. With that router going as fast as it is, if you don't have anything sealing the wood, it's a lot more likely to take a bigger chunk out of the grain than you intend. Here I'm brushing on some color tone from Stumac. It's a water-based sand sealer. At this stage, you finally get to see the first look at what the guitar is going to look like under finish. It really makes the wood pop. However, this is not a finish coat. This is just sanding sealer, and again, it's to protect it while we do any routing. It also does some pore filling as well, but it's not an actual pore filler. What you're seeing here is what we call a carriage. That's what the guitar is sitting in while we use the binding jig to route away the binding channel. That allows us to adjust front to back, side to side to get the guitar about, as flat as we can. We can't get it perfectly flat because our top has a 40-foot radius while our back has a 15-foot radius. And in order to get a consistent surface to register off of, we need to try to get that as flat as possible. I do apologize as we lost the footage of us gluing the binding onto the binding ledge, but to break it down for you in simple terms, I mixed water and Titebond, and we layered that in between each layer of purfling and binding, and used binding tape to tape it into place. We have since stopped using Titebond for the majority of our building process. We now use hide glue. Hide glue makes a lot of things easier. I feel like it makes a much better seam as it pulls the wood together, not just creating a bond, but it really seeps into the wood and just kind of pulls it a little bit. The other positive in my experience with hide glue is that when you're gluing a fretboard onto a neck, for example, you let it get a little tacky and you can clamp it into place and it doesn't move on you, whereas with Titebond, things would slip here and there. And I'm sure there were better ways to clamp things into place, but in all honesty, I feel like hide glue has increased our productivity as well as the quality of our builds. That's not to say Titebond isn't a good option, it's just not what I want to use anymore. And if you disagree, feel free to say so in the comments. More than happy to discuss pros and cons and enjoy some educational conversation. And the next step after cutting the pieces down to size and routing out the channel for the purfling for the abalone, simply take a flat block and clamp it down to hold everything down into place to make solid contact with the top. Once it's cured, we start sanding it flat, get a nice surface, and spray on the finish. Once again, we're using Color Tone by Stumac. It's a water-based lacquer. As you can see, Greg uses an airbrush to spray it onto the surface. The downside to the finish we use, much like many other finishes, is the wait period. 2 weeks until we can sand it again.
Thank you for watching episode 5.
And we'll see you back soon for episode 6.
Yeah.
You know, hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we're enjoying doing the work and making these videos.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Till next time.